This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
I'm going to call the July 28th meeting of the Manhan Rail Trail Committee to order. I sent everybody copies of the minutes with the agenda, so why don't we take care of that first? Does anybody have any corrections, additions, comments about the June 23rd minutes? If they look good, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the June 23rd meeting?
Make a motion.
Okay, motion second. Second. All in favor? Everybody raise their hands. Okay. All right, minutes are approved. Thank you, David. Wonderful as always. Public speak time. We have some public people. Anything you want to talk about, or are you just?
I have some questions about how the committee works, but I don't know if it's necessarily something we want to talk about now and take up meeting time, or they can be addressed
Sure,
later.
you can.
Okay. So I was wondering about maintenance aspects of the trail. So, like, for example, when part of the rail along the trail is broken or missing, like, how does that get handled?
If you see something that needs to be fixed, you can always email me, and then I'll reach out to the superintendent of Public Works.
Okay. So then the city handles fixing all of those kinds of things, right?
Well, it's kind of a mixed thing right now. Anything kind of biggish, like it depends on what it is. And if it was something that I think that the DPW should be able to handle, then I would direct it to them. If there was like a tree down, I would call them. I mean, there a lot of the bigger things now, I would probably just pass on to Greg and have him deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it's little things, you could still reach out. But maybe it's something our senior tax work-off person could do, or it kind of depends on what it is.
Okay. At the last meeting, you mentioned that people can purchase like benches, memorial benches. Are there other opportunities like for gifts like that to the rail trail?
Well, benches, we use the same product. We go through the park department, mm-hmm. and they have a whole process for memorial benches, how much they cost. They'll order them. We have to review where they would go. So things like that, which I want to talk about the Lovefield Street one.
So is that kind of the main donation that people do?
Well, we kind of try to discourage too many benches, because sometimes benches can be, problematic.
Okay.
Trash.
Cash is good. Cash is good.
It's always good.
Yeah.
And one can be a contributing member of the Friends of the Manhan Rail Trail,
Correct.
Which is what
many
people do.
Right.
The only thing we were talking about trying to purchase, but that's a big ticket item, and that's a 4-wheel maintenance vehicle, like a working version of a golf cart, but something that could be used for tiers to take out with all the equipment, whatever.
The thing with that is,
whatever.
I don't know if we talked about this at the last meeting, but if all goes as planned, next year, the city is really going to be the main maintenance thing. And they may have an employee, they may be purchasing equipment. We had thought about buying an ATV because you really kind of need it. But with that, hopefully very soon happening, it kind of got pushed to the side. Because they may come in and say they want
to do things differently.
They want to do things differently. They want to buy a certain kind of equipment. They want to have an employee. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, because it has been talked about for a long time now, but it was the agreement that we would take care of the mowing and the trash for one more year. And then next year it would be shifted over to the city.
Okay. And so this committee has been overseeing all of that from the beginning of the rail trail, and then at some point it'll hand over.
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, John.
So then I'm guessing that like maintenance of the plants and stuff kind of falls under that purview. So like when you have an invasive species or something, they are handling it?
Well, sometimes. So like, for example, down at the Route 5 end of the trail, there was a lot of grass, like big stuff growing into the trail. And there were some volunteers that I think they actually did go down and do some work. But I asked Greg about it, and he said, we have cut back everything we could with the arm mower from Fort Hill Road to Route 5. And they do that once a year. They go through it. Usually it's later, a little bit later in the season, and they'll cut the trail sides. And just because if you don't, it just gets really over.
I mean, things come back.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you know, there isn't sort of any eradication program that's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere.
It's every.
Yeah, the stuff that was all over the trail down there was
Right. I mean, when
not legal.
we don't want
Japanese not
the
legal.
trail
No.
obstructed, we want everything kept in check so people can freely use the trail, but
And you have to cut it back. Holden?
I was just going to mention that I'm pretty sure the Bees Committee has also organized trail maintenance days or invasive removals with volunteers at various types. I don't know how regular that is, but.
Okay, yeah, so we've signed up to volunteer with the Friends of the Rail Trail. And so like you get assigned a week to go out at your leisure and maintain just the area in front of Tandem.
Right.
And so I wasn't sure
Yep,
the
down
rest
to-
of it. Yeah,
Yeah.
And we do get people who just randomly, depending on where they live along the trail, just go out and cut things back or work.
I mean, if you see something and you're willing to take care of it,
Yeah, like if you guys wanted to maintain your end, the Coleman Road end, and, keep the roses, deadheaded and weeded, I mean, we would love that.
no one will object.
I think that's why it's a big question.
That's
Someone would get
John.
mad if you are.
Now,
You don't want to step on
John
toes.
usually maintains that, but I'm sure he could use some help.
okay. Cool. I think that's the end of my questions. Was there anything else? No, okay.
Actually, I didn't use the trail much in the winter, but I was just curious, do you guys do much in the winter to try to keep it clear, or is it just as it is?
Depends on the section.
Yeah,
Certain
so,
sections are plowed.
But Williston handles a section and they've been volunteering to do that for a long time. I think
it goes pretty much from,
Eastworks, it's also kind of,
no, they do, Williston does from like the gym area down to like Ferry Street usually.
Mhm.
I mean, they don't do it immediately because they have to do their stuff first, but they'll do that. And then there is somebody who does some plowing down in the Lovefield Street area, and we don't know who that is.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
A resident
Yeah.
and they
The city-
obviously use the trail. or-
Yeah, the city doesn't plow it at all. So the plowing that's done is done either by Williston or people who live close by and want to plow.
We have advocated for years to get the city to add that to their list, but it isn't in the budget at the moment. But we will continue to advocate for
right.
that.
And then if you have to sort of do like ice abatement, like there are certain areas that are along wetlands, you're not, you can't salt it or whatever. So it's difficult to kind of keep it completely clear. We've been lucky because we've had a lot of winters where there've been limited snow, so it's been clear for most of the winter,
Right.
but it's just not doable at this point.
Thank you for
Thank
taking the
you.
time to answer the
Yeah.
questions.
Sure. Sure. I guess that kind of leads into, I guess we'll do the new business. Wendy, you can explain your new business.
Well, I had said to Barbara that, she moved out of her city clerk's office and had a lot of materials pursuant to the origins of the rail trail and what have you in that. And I also had some file drawers full of stuff. And we were both thinking that material should be somewhere else, either in archives or the historical society or what have you. So we've started kind of gathering stuff. Well, you've already put stuff in the archives.
Yep, as I was cleaning out my office, anything that wasn't directly related to the Friends, mostly related to the construction and all that kind of leading up and everything I had, which was quite a bit. I boxed up and I put it into our archives, which are downstairs, and it's in the database. So if anybody ever needed to find it, including like the planning department or anybody, they could just go into the database, and there's like 3 boxes.
Okay.
So they're all downstairs, and it's all, I mean, it's a bunch of different stuff, but I tried to kind of summarize what was in the boxes.
Okay.
So
So who would if I do accumulate stuff, who do I give it to? Do I just go to the clerk's office and give it to Mary Ann?
you
And
could.
How about the library? Do they have any archives or anything?
they used to have a historical room down in the basement. I don't know if it's still there or not.
They move it to the new space.
I don't know.
I think that kind of I don't think they really have that anymore.
Worth asking.
Yeah, because I mean, they should at least be able to house them for us. You know,
Well, that's what our archives here are for.
okay.
Have them in one if Barbara's already started that, then maybe we should keep them in one place. But I don't know if this, for example, if that should go to the historical
Yeah, that's not
society,
really bike path.
because that's, I don't know how it ended up in the office.
Yeah. Holden, did you have something?
Yeah, I mean, if the library doesn't make sense, that's fine. I was just gonna mention, I know somebody on the library committee. I can ask them if I don't know if they do that type of kind of city historical archiving. Also with the upcoming move, they might, not be, I don't know if they're looking to take on more materials or not right now, just with that. I don't know how imminent that is. But I can ask if that would be one option.
Liz, did you talk to them about your map?
I did, and they took it, and they were very excited about it. And I have been meaning to. They were going to fill out some papers to document that we had given it to them, and I said I was going to contact Bill Burgard because it came from his house, and find out what he knows about the map. And I have not done that yet, but I need to do that, and so I can pass on that information to them.
What map?
There's a map of the original. It looks like it went back to 18 something of the railroad that went through the center of town that became the trail. And Bill it was mounted on paper and wrapped in plastic, quite a big thing. And when Bill moved out of his house, the Pascomic Trust held a tag sale of a lot of his belongings, and they gave that to me to give to the rail trail. And since we didn't really have a place for it, Barbara or Wendy, I forget which, suggested that we offer it to the library. And the head of the library was very excited to receive it.
Great.
Okay. Well, Wendy, you had talked to Terry at the Historical Society too.
Right. So she wanted us to gather whatever we wanted to donate to them, and she would look through it. But I said I wanted to chat with you first because I knew that you were thinking of another alternative. So
Yeah.
other than this, I don't know. I think most of this stuff belongs in the city archives. Do you agree?
Yes,
Okay.
I'll just leave that and I'll have her add that to the box.
Okay.
I mean, I have a feeling it's some of it is duplicate.
Right.
It's already down there, but
Right.
the grand opening thing that at
You
least
wouldn't
is,
have that.
I have some of it, but that's really organized. Okay. All right. So that's that.
Archivist tree.
Yeah, any other new business that I didn't think to put on here? I know Alexis, you were talking, we have a thing here about some signage. That's not really new business. That's kind of old business, but that's okay. The trail etiquette signs, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I just looked around the state and these were other similar signs and that I thought were pertaining to what we're trying to convey. And do the folks that aren't on our email, can they see the signs? The new members?
I don't think we got them.
Okay. Well, maybe someone can show them to, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the Medfield sign is really, really good. And it says, like we don't have anything that I've seen publicly that states what kind of e-bikes are allowed, for example. And it clearly states that in like what's allowed. And yeah, I think it's a pretty clear sign about trail etiquette.
I wonder, you just went online and looked for those, or do you know of somebody from that trail?
The Bruce Ribbon Rail Trail, I got it directly from one of the founders in Sudbury. The Medfield, I just found when I Googled.
Oh, the only one I see here is the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. I just wonder, like, if somebody else has already made a sign. I mean, I do think it's a good idea for other trails in this area to be consistent on signage. But I also think that if another trail has a good sign and it looks like it fits, it might be good to reach out and see where they had them made. Maybe we can just get a couple.
I mean, I think we would need to decide on what we want ours to say. Can the rest of you see the Medfield Rail Trail? I sent it to the group email. Yeah, Liz is nodding yes. Yeah. Stephen, are you going to the Northampton to New Haven meeting tomorrow?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, maybe you could ask them if they have any similar trail etiquette signs, or they want to put the logo for the whole trail on it, or it's just going to be an Easthampton thing.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
As to right now, I know that we don't have any standardized signage or anything at this point.
Yeah. Maybe it's something that the whole trail wants to do.
Yeah, I think
need.
that makes sense. We would want to actually coordinate both trails. So, the design should be uniform, I would think.
And it doesn't make sense to go from town to town and see different information. I get that we're covering 2 states, so maybe it's going to change when you get to Massachusetts. We might have different laws, but most of these are very generic. Passing on your left.
Right.
This one has something about horses. We don't allow horses, so we need to go through bullet by bullet and decide which ones we want.
Yeah, I like the Medfield one, except for the horses. That looks great.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Holden?
Alexis, did you just grab these off the website, or did you know someone at the Medfield Rail Trail that might have like the source documents or give us permission to retrofit it?
I could probably find the person, but yeah, I just found the Medfield off the internet. The Bruce Freeman, I have the contact, but I like the Medfield better.
Yeah, because it seems like the Medfield, if they're assuming they're okay with us utilizing and remixing it, which I can't imagine they'd have much problem with, but good to ask, then it'd probably be easy if they can give us the whatever, if it's I don't know if it's a Word file or something more complicated, but. Yep.
And now that I'm looking at it says Bay Colony Rail Trail. Is that part of the one that wraps around? That might be an AMC program, which I can ask around is the the short of it.
So where do you see posting these? How frequently? Certainly we can put one on the kiosk.
Yeah, I think these should be when you're writing and like actually looking at just like a traffic sign.
Yeah.
Right, like maybe at like Coleman Road and then in the middle of town and then
Ferry Street.
Yeah, major intersections.
At the Y.
Right. Yep. There's a company on Lovefield Street. I mean, these would have to be on metal, I would assume. There's a company, it's right below Easthampton Savings Bank in that little row of shops. There's a car place and a hair place. Anyway, there's a company in there that does signage. And I'm not going to say it would be cheap, but I bet that they could, if we gave them the file, we could probably have them made there. So.
Yeah, I think we need to decide. I like the formatting of the midfield, but I think we need to decide what bullet points we want for our group. And we can ask, Stephen can ask the larger rail trail if they want to participate or not.
Right. I think that would be great. I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. But if they say no, then we can maybe take this and tweak it a little bit and.
We do already have permission from the Bruce Friedman, but again, their graphics aren't as good.
Yeah, like the other one, it's a little more easy to.
It's really easy to read.
Easy to read. Yep. I like it against a dark background, whether we go with maroon or green or whatever. A dark background, I think, is good.
I would suggest using our colors in our sign.
Yeah, so it would be like this color.
Yeah.
It would be green.
Yeah, that would be consistent.
Yeah.
Plus it blends in.
And then we
with
could down in the corner, just
Right.
put our logo.
Yep.
And just for the record, I asked DCR and Mass Trails, and honestly, theirs are worse than this. This Medfield one was by far the best one I found.
Okay.
Okay.
The DCR ones are just really messy, or just really too much information.
Lettered. Yeah. You want to, if people are riding, it has to be just.
Yep.
No,
No,
couple of things.
I think it looks great. I don't know.
Didn't we have the rules of the road printed on our first brochure?
Oh,
Yeah, they're on the brochures.
They're on the brochures, and it's also posted in the kiosk. It says printed out and posted, but Union Street, I don't know how many people actually stop and read that stuff.
I have actually, that reminds me of something I was gonna ask about. And this is because, I walk along the Lovefield, the O'Neill Street part of the rail trail a lot. And at the corner of O'Neill and Lovefield, that's a completely blind
Oh, yeah.
corner.
Yeah,
Talked about
it's
that.
dangerous.
And
Yep.
bikers don't stop at that
Yeah,
stop
they
sign.
do trim the guy who mows the bank, he is now mowing. At least I think they keep the brush back and
Yeah, but if you're going south, you can't,
yeah,
and
There's-
cars can't see you,
You have to stop.
but nobody seems to.
It's a terrible design, and we knew it when we saw it. We couldn't understand what the heck they were doing.
Yeah.
yeah, we've
until
talked.
they were- yeah, it was just, it's never been a good intersection.
Yeah.
Talked about some of those curved mirrors, the
Yeah.
convex mirrors.
I think the best thing that we did was just tell them, like, there was a lot of brush there, and I think they do keep that trimmed.
I mean,
I don't,
technically, cars are supposed to stop before the trail, before proceeding ahead. And again, of course, I
I know
know.
they are.
and I think it's
And
on the road
bicyclists are supposed
too.
to stop at the stop sign too,
Right.
and I was driving through there the other day and I saw these two bikes on the trail and I knew they weren't gonna stop, so I was prepared, but it just occurred to me again.
Well, same's true at Ferry Street, where I can't tell you how many times it's 90% of cyclists do not bother to use
Right,
flashing
that's what
lights.
you can
They just
see.
go.
you
Well,
can
you'd have to
see
Well,
stop
you-
to do
You
that.
can see going toward Lovefield,
Yeah.
but if you're coming the other way, it's a little blind.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, it's like you've got to like take part of a hill out,
right.
or you got to take part of a building out.
Everything, it's stop and stop.
But I mean, the thing is, that hill is artificial. They built that hill up when they built the trail, and I do not understand why they did that.
Could we install some kind of where you're forcing the
How would you
bikers?
do that though? Because you've got the hill and then you've got the road.
Yeah,
There's no
that's,
room for it.
You have to
Yeah,
put enough of a
That
curve.
would be something they'd have to engineer.
But they would have to, it would have
yeah,
to.
that would be,
Maybe we should put like a cross with flowers and make people think that there was an accident and somebody perished. Maybe that will make them.
I think they did, there is markings on the road though.
yeah, no, it's all there. I just wondered, are there any other places across the state, and maybe Alexis knows this, where a bike trail that they know that's a dangerous intersection. Are there added signs that anybody ever puts up for something like that? You know how you see sometimes on roads, it'll say dangerous intersection, with
Right.
flashing lights and stuff. I just didn't know if any bike trail ever even thought about that, but that one just scares me. I'm shocked that nobody's been
Right.
run over it.
Right. And
Yeah,
it's
we,
been
we've talked about that
quite a
before,
while.
and just,
Yeah.
I don't know really what, except for cutting the brush, markings on the road. There's stop signs. It's like, what else do you do?
Speed bump.
I was just thinking speed bumps, but that could be bad for bikers.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, but it
Oh,
would-
for the cars. Are you talking about?
No,
for the
I'm talking
cars?
about for the bikes, to try to get the bikes to slow down a little bit. Because really the issue is a biker that doesn't stop, right? They're going south. The car can't see them.
Correct.
And they can't see the cars either. But I just wondered if there was any other kind of signs that anybody has ever used for, adding to a dangerous bike intersection. That's all. That's what.
I can't remember what it is on the road.
Whether it's a crossing
Yeah,
or
like,
something,
right.
or slow or stop, or
Yeah.
we can look at it maybe and see if there's something else simple that could be done.
But signs.
I know.
Yeah, that's the thing. People don't look at, I mean,
Yeah, they
they're not gonna
don't.
stop at a stop sign. They're not gonna.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big, huge, I think we
didn't know if
actually
there's
put
anything
a
else
bigger
that
stop sign there. And
Oversized.
we put it over, yeah, is that where we did that? John? You're mute, okay.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, that's the reason that when they do all these redesigns of the trails, that's why they put that swerve in front of the roads now. So that the bikers can't come ripping through there and just go across the street.
Yep.
So I think if it's a problem with the bikers, we're gonna have to think about how we can slow the bikers down, not the cars.
Yeah, the car's coming around a sharp corner.
Right, you're talking about the Love Field little,
Yeah, Love Field O'Neill intersection.
yeah, Love Field, yeah, where that quick turn is, that's really,
I think they'd have to cut into that hill and there's a utility pole there.
Yeah.
So, because you can't go in the other direction because you're right there on the road. I mean, it's like, there's like just room enough for the wall and
yeah.
the path and the
And then
fence,
the road is there.
and it's there. So there's, unless they were to somehow
Funnel,
dig into the,
make it narrow,
I don't know,
like a gate.
I'm gonna take a look at that spot and I'm also gonna take a look and see what other trails have done.
Yeah, I don't see why trails can't have the same type of signs like you were saying that roads have. So, blind curve or whatever, whatever is appropriate.
so you're,
We could put some warning signs up there. That's a good idea.
I'd want to know what's there already. Because I
Yeah.
know there is
Yeah.
something there.
On pavement, it says highway crossing.
Okay.
That's what's printed on the pavement of the bike trail.
Oh.
Not for the,
But
I
there's
don't-
something on the road, I think, too, isn't there? I'm not sure.
I think it's just a crosswalk on the road
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then a stop
I'm
sign.
Looking at like Google Street
Going
View,
around-
there's
look
stop
around the corner.
signs.
Yep, there's
There's stop signs on the bike trail.
Right. And then
I'm not seeing any,
Oh,
not like the street side, but I'm not sure there's any.
There's
Being
a stop
on
sign
there.
for the cars too, but
Yeah.
again,
I think as you're approaching it, I thought there was a sign on the right. On the other side
trail,
of the
trail
curb.
crossing,
Yeah, something like
maybe.
that.
I don't usually walk on the
Like
road.
before, that was kind of first excavated with brush,
Yeah.
and they
One
cleared
of the
that.
most effective things there might be, in regards to the cars that are coming up to that blind turn is a flashing yield sign. Because of the stuff that I deal with at Bombyx, I've been talking to a lot of police officers and they've started to change all their stop signs to, flashing red stop signs.
Yeah. I've seen
And they
those.
said that like, because they have, all the statistics downtown of what happens at different intersections. And this simple changing of the stop sign to a flashing one has like, cuts it down like almost 100%.
Yeah, they're like solar paneled, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a small solar panel and it's just a regular sign with LEDs around the perimeter of it that flashes. But this might be a great spot for a flashing yield sign for the people that are coming down Love Field. Because if you're not from around here, you would think that is coming around the corner to a street, but it actually has the bike trail crossing before the street, which is what the dangerous part is.
So again, I'm trying to look at Google Street View, and there is definitely a stop sign on Love Field before you get to the bike trail, but it's actually also behind that blind corner. So you can't see the stop sign until you're basically at the trail. And I'm not seeing anything on the street unless they painted this afterwards. It's like highway crossing or bike crossing
Or stop ahead
or stop ahead or anything from Love Field coming. I don't disagree that bikes are flying past there, and I do bike that section, and I do try to slow down because I recognize that's a big blind spot. So it might be there's opportunities on both sides to increase, but
agreed.
Yeah,
I'll take some photos.
Take pictures. Yeah, that would be great. Okay. So after our last meeting, a group of us met at the kiosk one morning just to take a look at it, because the company every year, they want us every year to take an inspection of the posts. Because they have had at least one instance someplace, one of the posts failed. So we did that. We have not done it before because it's in pavers. So it's kind of a big deal. So we did that, and I took, Evan took a bunch of pictures, even though there was a little bit of, something, it was pretty solid, the post. So what we did more importantly was we were looking at the kiosk itself, and I was able to get it, the other side opened.
Finally.
I met Mark Sinkowitz down there from Florence Lock and Key. I said, we've tried to get this open and we couldn't get it unlocked. And he went right up and just opened it right up. Took like seconds. I don't know. He said there was something with the flipper thing on the bottom that it was a little too fat, but I don't know. We tried to turn it and it wasn't
For a while.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, we did get it open. On the other side, flipping the cork board was much better. I have not gone down with the correct equipment to flip the other side yet.
Okay.
But then we were also looking at the doors, because the doors have gotten all cloudy and, some of it's from the sun. I think some of it was from people trying to remove graffiti with the wrong stuff.
Solutions. Yeah.
So I wrote to the company, and one of the guys was in Montana, but he called back and he left me a couple messages, and I finally talked to him, and I sent him all the pictures of the posts, and I think he thought they were okay, but he did ask that we look at it every year. Yeah, just to make sure that there isn't any more rotting. But he also said that those doors, the doors that we have, are metal. They're metal frame but he said they don't make them anymore. And he doesn't know, because I asked him if we could just buy some new doors.
Right.
And he said that we were probably one of the few places that had those kind of doors, and they don't make them anymore. And because at first he was saying, oh, you could just take the glass out and put in a new piece of glass. And I'm like, well, they're metal. So we were both looking at the picture, and it's definitely metal. And they're like, you can't say
It's plexiglass. It's not real glass, right?
Right.
It's
right. We could
plexiglass.
get Lexan, just like we've done with the kiosks.
Yeah.
If we could get it out, but it's metal and it's like caulked in there. So I don't know. Rich and I were gonna go down and look at it a little more. He suggested that we see if we could find somebody around here that could make new doors.
Wooden.
Yeah, that'd be the way to go, make new doors.
Yeah, whether they're wooden or whether you can go to somebody and they can make metal
Kind of
doors.
synthetic or something.
But unfortunately, they weren't able to help us out with new
That's
doors.
interesting.
So
Oh,
that was unfortunate, but
Yeah.
that's the scoop on that.
So they didn't have a way to get the plexiglass out. They couldn't suggest a way to get it out.
I mean, if you look at the
They-
pictures,
He knew they were metal doors.
I mean,
but
we
suggested
were
they
looking at the
change
same
it.
pictures because I sent him pictures, and so I
Oh,
was,
okay.
we were looking at I just do this. We were all looking at here. Find it.
Well, so the question is then, is it meant to be a frame that you can replace the glass, or was it just meant to be a one piece? You know, like nowadays, the lights that you just toss out after you use.
Um,
I think we would have to like have
New doors.
like brand new doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who would do that? What kind of
Well, I don't know.
sign company or?
No, I mean, I don't,
Curious what it looks like on the other side.
I probably have a picture.
Is the plexiglass secured by the caulk or is there any mechanical fittings screws? 'Cause heat does a lot to loosen
Yeah.
caulk.
Should we melt it out?
If you don't care about the
Yeah.
plexiglass, then the metal's probably gonna be fine with heat.
You kind of,
Heat it up and just.
here's,
Do they know how they were
oh,
made?
here's like the edge. Here's the outside edge.
Okay, so it does look like there's maybe a clear silicone caulk there.
Mm-hmm. And some screws, but I mean, if you don't care about the plexiglass, you can probably like heat that up, dig out the caulk and then put something in new.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, I think we'd have to take the whole.
Does that metal
Oh, yeah.
expand and
We'd have to-
contract?
Like if we can maybe take the doors off.
I mean, there's just screws on the hinges for the doors, so that would
Yeah.
come off pretty easily.
Really?
Yeah, the doors could come off.
Yeah.
And
Depending on
then
how old that caulk is, they might just come right out anyways.
it looks
True.
pretty solid in there, I have to say.
You'd be surprised.
I mean, we've gotten a replacement Lexan before, and there's a company over in Holyoke, Flynmar, that you can get it. So that's not a problem. It's the frame, whether we could get that out of there and get a new piece in, or whether we have to like build or have somebody fabricate a door to put the Lexan in.
What if we brought the door to them? Because to who? To the Lexan place? Would they might
I don't
know how to do that. Like you said, we need this replaced. Hand them the thing. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's because hey, it's like taking a hatch out of a boat.
Yeah.
These are special kind of screws, I think, too. Specialty.
Oh, is it just a square? Like when you get something from Amazon, you have to put together with the special screwdriver? Yeah. Rich had a whole set of
Oh,
those.
like
Yeah,
an Allen
hold
wrench.
like an
type.
Allen
Yeah,
wrench.
yeah.
There's.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if you can send around a photo of those doors. I wasn't able to make it for the inspection.
Yep.
I'm curious. It's quite the discussion about these doors.
Sorry.
No
Well,
worries.
it's like it should be a simple thing.
Anybody can stop by and take a look at them too. But they are,
That's true. I guess that might be even more informative.
Yeah, it's like a window
yeah, it's
caulking
it's got
seal
caulking.
or something. But you should be able to just
Yeah, so
dig
that's what I was
that
wondering,
out.
because you get, if you can get the
Would
caulk
some
out, if that's what's
company-
holding it in.
Knows how they were
Yeah,
manufactured
that's
and
odd.
if they'd ever had to replace them.
That's what I
Or
was thinking.
Yeah, well,
maybe
you know,
that particular person wasn't the most helpful.
no, I think
Maybe they weren't there when
he's- no, he seemed like, well, I'll tell you what, I'll see, after we get the house done next door to us. Rich, my husband, we should have, maybe we can go down and we can take the door off. I mean, we have to flip this over anyway.
Right.
Maybe we can take the door off and kind of,
Mess with it a little.
yeah,
bit. You can't hurt it. I
right.
mean, if we have to have a.
And
new
you're
one.
right, maybe going to Flynmar, maybe they would have some idea of how to put a new piece of glass in
Right.
there. If we just took
Yeah.
the frame over, maybe they could somehow put the new piece of Lexan in.
Or if-
I don't-
ideally, if there's someone who
Sign
can
maker.
do it on site
Mm.
so
Yeah.
that we don't have to have the signs removed for an extended period
Yeah.
and expose the
Right.
other part to the weather.
Yeah, that's not perfect.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just take out one side. Okay. So that's the story on the sign.
Never
The
easy.
kiosk.
Never simple.
That's what
yeah.
I'm about.
Yeah, anybody who wants to stop down, it's right there. You can see if you have any great ideas about how to fix it. I mean, it's not horrible, and it does look much better with
It does.
with the corkboard flipped over.
Yeah, that side is a little bit cleaner.
Yeah, much better. Okay, all right. All right, so I told everybody about the brush cutting. Greg, he says the grant project on the trail is finished. We are planning to reapply for a Mass Trails Grant FY26 once they start accepting applications, which is in February. Our plan is basically to repeat everything we did for this year's grants and focus construction efforts on the section of the trail between Ferry Street and Route 5.
So how many people have ridden some of the new sections that they've done? Has anyone ridden their bike?
Yeah.
I want your opinion of their crack filling.
Up behind Eastworks, the cracks are still pretty deep. Like even where they have filled in, it's still noticeable. There's a divot in the rail trail. Other places I think are decent, but I would also say there's still quite a number of places in even kind of south of Ferry down towards us where there's still some decent bumps.
Yeah.
In the trail as well.
I was shocked that I had to brake every time we came to one of those. So there's, it was a hole, went all the way across. So they took this filler and they put it on the edge, and in the middle. So all you did was, it's still lower in the middle and it's now higher on either end. So I don't know, they didn't roll it flat or something. I don't know why.
They did that after.
They did it in some places, but not in most that we rode
No,
over.
what they did is, I think after they put in the new asphalt in those areas, I don't think they've used the roller over where they did the filling. I think they came around after and did that. And I think part of the intention, my sense was not to sort of make it perfectly level, but to sort of prevent things from growing in it and from those cracks spreading. But it does feel like after they put it in, it was a little more level. And then like since then, just with,
It's gonna settle.
it's settled down. So, there is they're like bumps now.
Yeah, I would like to take a roller and just put some more goo in the hole. I mean, it's not.
Is it something that
I
has to,
understand why it wasn't done right.
I wonder if it's something that you normally have to go back over.
Well, they're done.
Right. No, I know they're done, but is it normally something that if you're filling a crack, you have to fill it and then let it settle and come back and put more in, and they didn't do that second step? I mean, I don't know.
They didn't roll it and it would have smushed it.
I think it's more to seal the crack rather than make it level with the surface. I mean, it's, better than it was, but it could have been better than it is.
Is it worth sharing these concerns with Greg?
Well, I think we should ask, because if we're gonna get another grant, we want it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it.
Greg and Mandy is the assistant engineer. I think
Yeah.
that's what she is. She's really she was the one that was out working really directly with them. So it might be worth asking her, why are these spots not much better than they were before? I mean, is there any particular spots that you can think of?
You have to, it's
Just
quite a few.
and they
There's quite a
were
few.
crack filled, right?
Correct.
And they're not level.
Correct.
I'd say the most obvious ones are behind Eastworks. If you're looking for a
Yeah.
very short area to get out to is
Yeah, Eastworks.
Where they did large stretches of pavement, that's nice and smooth.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's great. It's just the little
Yeah.
cracks that go from that go all the way across. And they just didn't.
Well, it's kind of like what they do in the roads where they patch. It's a little bit like that. It doesn't make it level. It's still bumpy, but you don't have the huge hole.
Instead of going down, you go up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why is it?
But I mean, some
In
of
other
them have
places,
sunk,
they
some of
level
them
it
have
out.
sunk down and some of them have created bumps up.
Yeah.
Um,
I was just surprised at that.
Bolden?
It seemed to go downhill. I thought the section, the southernmost section they did was really good. I walked that a number of times, and that was fine. But as you approach the mills, it just went downhill. There's a whole bunch of like you say, they're not like they're like rolling hills, not or I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, they're a little wider and bigger.
And I'm not sure, I think walking is a different experience. When you ride, you really
Right.
feel every little bump. Walking,
True.
you just step over it, your brain doesn't even process it, but when you're riding, you.
That's true.
Holden?
So I'm guessing that the contractor has already been paid. It's the end of the month, right? And they finished work end of June. But just for, especially if the city's thinking about another grant, would it be possible? I think you said Mandy is the engineer.
Yep.
It might be helpful to have Mandy come to one of our meetings, or I don't know, one of us to go to if there's an engineering meeting, because I think the way to really solve that would be to have some kind of punch list in the contract, right, going forward for any maintenance contracts on the rail trail to say, I don't know if it's, if the within a 2-foot span, it can't rise more than an inch, or, some measurable metric that would be kind of like an acceptable installation. And Mandy might already, I don't know what that would be, but it would be interesting to hear from the engineer perspective, or if there maybe was a step, like you were saying, to do an extra fill, but they ran out of time, so they had to skip that. Or like, I know for a driveway, right, you pave a driveway or a parking lot and they say like, okay, you don't drive on it for like 2 weeks. That's not really possible with a public road or a rail trail. I guess bikes are, weigh a lot less than a car, but if there's sections that have sunken down, it just might be interesting from the engineer's perspective. Are there things that we can put into a future contract to prevent maintenance issues, or are there things from the engineering perspective that really are quite unpredictable? I'm not sure.
Were they crack filling the way they do for roads? In which case,
Right.
you wouldn't notice it in a
Notice it.
car.
Right.
And if that's what they mostly do, they might not even have thought about the fact that,
You're gonna feel it.
on a bike, it's very different.
Cracks are sealed. It's just
Right.
that
So they did what,
we would have liked it
they
to
said
sort
they
of
were
be a
gonna do.
little more level with the adjacent asphalt. And I don't know how feasible that is, because it does seem like some of it just subsides over a period of just a few weeks. And I mean, the cracks aren't going to spread, they're not going to become like jagged asphalt chipping off. But, it would be nice if it were, I think it was just sort of the last thing they did, and they went through there and
I wonder what the material is like, I'm assuming it's more liquid. It's not
It
like,
is
it's
they
not,
spray it.
it's not like asphalt. It's like a
Tar.
tar.
Yeah.
So it's kind of different.
It's, if you've
It
ever had your
acts-
driveway sealed,
Yeah, I've
and then
seen
if
them
there's
on
cracks, you
Route
see all
10.
these squiggles.
Yeah.
And it looks
what it is.
bad too.
Yeah.
It literally looks bad.
I was actually on Route 10 when they were doing it, like heading towards Southampton, and I was like, I was out there like, so
Yeah.
it may be that they didn't fill it enough, or they filled it too much, or it maybe the weather was affected, how it settled, or I don't know. I know that Mandy, Greg said she was out checking like every little thing, but I mean, maybe if the worst spots are right near Eastworks, maybe they could, next year, if they get the grant, maybe they could just go out and fix
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And
Because it's
I'm
right
sure there
there.
was a punch list. There had to have been a punch list, because there always
Yeah.
is. Well,
Is
whether
is
that's-
that a reasonable thing to invite the engineer to our next meeting? I'd be happy to reach out, or Barbara, if you'd rather.
Yeah, I mean, I've asked her like to come and just kind of talk about the grant. I mean, she can just pop on, remotely, so it's not like she has to come here. I mean, Greg is her boss, so I would want to make sure that both of them were included. And if she felt like she was if he was okay with her coming, then, I mean, I could ask.
Well, and it's also relevant because if the city is going to take over maintenance responsibilities in the next year, we obviously want to make sure, right? Because like if you're crack sealing like a road, a small bump in a car is very different than the same size bump on a bike. So just having that starting to build that understanding might be helpful.
Well, I'll send Mandy and Greg, I'll send both, them an email just saying we have some concern about the crack filling, you know, how it ended up.
Right, and whether this was what was to be expected.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
Right, exactly.
whether, you know, there's something that could have been done differently to sort of smooth it out.
Yeah. I just know they were really pressed on time because things got going really late, and it might have been maybe a time or weather kind of thing, but I mean, there's some pretty big cracks on the Ferry Street to Route 5 section. I mean, there's some big cracks. So they're going to be dealing with those cracks again, and we want to make sure that they're done.
I think to make them smooth, sometimes they also have to like cut the
Out.
asphalt.
Right. And sometimes it just seems like it would be better to use asphalt on some of the really, on the really big cracks.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what she says. And if she's able to come to our next meeting, even just for a little bit, it might be good to just have a chat. She is the one who's going to be doing the application for the next round.
Okay.
So, I think it would be good to have a little bit of feedback.
And maybe a site visit. We can go out and walk and so we can explain what we're talking about.
I'd also have to imagine there's a giant cost difference too between just kind of like using the tar to patch up a crack
Right.
and then sawing out
Right,
existing
sure.
asphalt,
Right.
making completely flat
course.
level. It's going to be pretty significant difference. Whether there's a medium ground and being able to use some sort of filler in the big cracks before you seal it with the tar, maybe might be a way to try to avoid that kind of divot of the seal. But yeah, that's all engineering work, their questions.
All right. Okay, I'll do that. Are there any other trail issues?
We noticed a sign at, was it South Street? Or it looked like an event sign, but we were by it too fast. I should have had Chris turn around, but if anybody sees signs for an event that is not trail related, I think there's one at Coleman Road. Chris said he noticed one.
Oh, yeah, any event like
Pull them up,
5K
please.
signs. Yep,
Yeah.
pull them up. They're not allowed.
Unless it's an event that has been approved, you know, a 5K on a trail or something.
Well, even that, they're
I don't
not,
know if they're
this,
not allowed.
signs aren't allowed on city property. And once you let one sign in, they just multiply.
Like the rabbits along the trail.
I think the worst spot right now is right down by Ferry, the Rotary. I see things
Yeah.
kind of along there a lot.
Yeah, we get a lot of traffic going
Yeah.
Yeah, there's usually signs right at the posts that hold the flashing lights.
Oh,
That
yes,
crossing.
it's usually right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else out there, Liz, Steve? Oh, Liz is asleep.
Are we that boring?
Well, she was yawning.
Actually, meeting.
Good point. That's funny.
Talked about signs.
All right, maybe we should adjourn. All right, so our next meeting is Monday, August 18th. I'll reach out, look at signs, we'll reach out to Mandy and whatever else that comes up.
We are out of town, so we will not be,
Oh,
but we'll be thinking of you.
I don't know what the meeting for September is. Can't remember. But it's towards
Yeah, I
the end.
won't be able to make next month's meeting either. I'll be at the Holyoke Ecped Committee meeting.
All right, well, whoever can meet, that's good. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
A second?
A second.
All in favor? Okay, all right, we'll see whoever can make it on Monday, August 18th.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.